In the UK, there are over 700 estate agency suppliers and Proptech firms, and trying to get your message across to estate and letting agents to use your business is quite hard work. Today, I've got Iain White, who is the driving force behind the ICG approved organisation, which are my words, cream and the cream of estate agency suppliers. What is the ICG, and why should Proptech people be interested in potentially getting on board with it? Talk to me, Iain.
Well, thank you, Chris. The ICG, what is the ICG? So we've done a lot of the groundwork for the estate agents. So we've checked these businesses out thoroughly. We've made sure that they're adding a qualitative return on investment or a good partnership. They're solving real problems for real estate agents, and we can prove it and evidence it. So as you say, and I agree with you, that they're the cream of the cream. They're at the top end, the cutting edge of and it's not just Proptech, it's suppliers.
It is suppliers, yeah.
You know, yes, some of it's technology based, but some of it's just human businesses that provide service to estate agents to help them, you know, in whatever aim that they're trying to do. But the primary things, or the objectives of the ICG, which should be exciting to estate agents, is to bring products together to create seamless platforms for them.
Hold on a second. Are you taking? We haven't got to do multiple logons and they all talk to each other. That sounds panacea. That does.
Yes. What we want to do is basically. So our long-term aim now is agents will know across the land that it's very, very difficult to get the CRMs to open up to all of the suppliers.
Awful.
But to be fair, if you sit with the CRM people and listen to their perspective, which estate agents tend not to do, is that just imagine that you were the CEO of a Repeat or of the ZPG group or whatever it is. You might get thousands of requests a year for an API from companies that at that point don't even have an estate agency customer. Now, whether we like it or not, that requires input from the Repeats and the ZPGs to facilitate that. And that's an impossible scenario. So you have to put yourself in their shoes. It's impossible. What we aim to do is to create a ICG API that log into the big CRMs and go to the CRMs and say, right, albeit we're going to be on a very base level, we would like you to work with us because we've got these 50, 60 suppliers and we have the agents' interests, because agents might want to use the API. So if we have an ICG API on a very basic level, so name, address, telephone number, status, postcode, nothing particularly flash or fancy, it will mean that the ICG app, or whatever you want to call it, will sit in a place where we can go to ZPG, we can go to Repeat, we can go to all of them and say, look, we're going to solve the problem for you here, but you've got to work with us. And if you don't, we're going to publish the fact that you won't work with us. You know, MRI work with us, as you know, they're part of the ICG. Repeat work with us, they're part of the ICG. But even being part of that's not perfect at the moment by any stretch. But it's very difficult to get anything going with most of the other bigger suppliers. And agents are constantly frustrated by it because now they come in and they've got all these bits of kit they have to open up, and they end up paying for the kit and their people don't use it properly and the kit doesn't talk to one another. We aim to solve that by giving the agents the ability to use our API, or a supplier to use the API.
Now, the API is a few months away. I do know for a fact that some ICG members are actually already have been collaborating for the last couple of years and actually doing their own internal APIs.
Yes, I mean the big guys with the big networks, the contrary to popular belief, the CRMs will typically talk to them. In some cases, they've invested in them. But yes, of course, some of the really big guys have got the APIs, but some of the smaller guys have either got very, you know, they've been really dragged through the mill and spent fortunes and still not really got the proper integrated solution. So, and of course, we're going to learn off of the bigger members within the ICG who are going to help us with, you know, Steve Rad has got one of the best APIs around there, and he's part of the ICG. You know, with his offering, and we've got that expertise within our group to help.
But one of the biggest criticisms of the ICG, Iain, is that if you have a firm already doing what you do, they can veto you out.
Used to. So that's all changed now. So when we first set up, we obviously wanted an exclusive collection of estate agency suppliers, and we created that. But obviously, we're now in phase 2 of our plan, if you like. So what we've agreed with the members is that we will remove the right to veto, but the new companies that apply have to, as you know, we reject many more suppliers than we accept. So there are still very high bar of entry.
What is the bar of entry, by the way?
Well, it's quite varied, and it's difficult and unfair to go into now. But in terms of, it's a reassurance that the companies aren't new starts. They have got networks of agents. They can provide evidence.
So they have to have so many customers and been going for so long and prove that.
And be in a certain financial situation, et cetera, and be able to provide references from agents that they've been working with and so on. And then ultimately the membership get an opportunity to vote anyway. And you have to have 66% of the membership vote in favour in order to become a member. So obviously with the veto being removed, we're now sifting through a number of applications that previously had been vetoed. We've had 2-3 acceptances in the last few days, or last few weeks, sorry, and we've got a number of others. But we, as you know, we reject far more than we accept.
And how do firms make that application?
They can go through the ICG approved website. They can pick up the phone to me if they happen to know me. They can email me. They can make contact with us off the ICG approved website. But there is an application form on the website itself.
Boys and girls out there in Proptech and estate agency supplier land, I'm not being paid to do this video. Iain's come up with some other videos and we decided just to whack this one on at the end. I am an honorary member of the ICG and I see the wonderful things that happen between the suppliers, and I would strongly recommend that you check the ICG out. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Well, we hope so. I mean, we want to provide good content for the estate agents. Obviously, once the apps because we're looking at apps and APIs. So we're looking to build apps for the estate agents that will log straight into the CRMs, and an API. So an agent can take advantage of the API if they can conceive or build their own piece of tech, or if they want to hook a supplier in that we're not working with. Obviously, the ICG members, that's fine. The ones that want to work with it can work with it. But it does mean that we can get the attention of the CRMs to say, look, we're asking you to do this once, not 100 times, so we're going to solve your problems. But the collaboration of what you've seen is really creating products that were great in their own entity to be absolutely mind-bending what they can do if you add, a CCT to a this and a Spectre to that and a Spriff to this, and you add Akaboom and Spriff together. You do these things, and you're suddenly providing these estate agents with some pretty sharp kit.
Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? That if Proptech talks to each other, you're going to have a better service for the estate agents, which means they can offer a better service and ultimately charge more money.
Yeah, and a good seamless solution that is easy to use, because most of the tech and suppliers, they've got great stuff going on, but they're not always that easy to use. Yeah. And if they're not easy to use, my experience is they don't get used. Doesn't matter if the MD's perceived it to be a great bit of kit. If the guy on the ground floor, it's taking up too much of his time, particularly at the moment when we're all stretched human resources wise, it just doesn't get used, which is the worst outcome of all, because you're paying for it and getting no benefit.
Thank you for your time today, Iain.
Thank you.